on the Hawkeyes Sports Network from Learfield. Live from the Hyatt Regency, this is Hawk Talk with Fran McCaffery. Brought to you by Hyatt Regency, caring for people so they can be their best. Bud Light, it's for the fans. Brought to you by Ford, inviting you to visit your local Ford store or buyfordnow.com. Hy-Vee, score big savings at HyVeeDeals.com. U.S. Bank, proud to support Iowa basketball. U.S. Bank, equal housing lender, member FDIC. And by U.S. Cellular, the official wireless partner of the Iowa Hawkeyes. Here's the voice of the Hawkeyes, Gary Dolphin.
Hey, good evening, everybody. Welcome to our inaugural Hawk Talk with Iowa basketball coach Fran McCaffery. Fran will be joining us here shortly. What a game last night by the Hawkeyes. A convincing 81-65 victory over Georgia Tech. A record-setting performance by Chris Murray in the Big Ten ACC Challenge. Propelled the Hawks to a 16-point victory over Georgia Tech. Of course, he had great support from his teammates over at Carver Hawkeye Arena. And the Hawks are off to a 6-1 record with the first month of the regular season ending. And December arrives with a roar. Next week, the Jimmy V Foundation Classic out in Madison Square Garden and elsewhere. But we'll look forward to that game with Duke. We'll talk about that tonight as well. Duke is playing Ohio State as we speak in the Big Ten ACC Challenge. We'll keep you up to date with those scores. But in the meantime, thanks so much for tuning in here on the Hawkeye Radio Network. Iowa back from the Emerald Coast Classic. 2 games played there over the weekend and bounced back nicely with a big win over Georgia Tech last night. The Hawks split 2 games down in Florida in the Panhandle, beating Clemson in a thrilling ending to that game on Friday, and then on Saturday night lost a tough one to a very good TCU team out of the Big 12, but got back on track last night with that 16-point victory over Georgia Tech. I'm Gary Dolphin alongside my broadcast partner, Bobby Hansen. Coach McCaffery will join us here in just a few minutes, but Bobby, a solid win last night in what has become a great showcase for college basketball. It's the 24th and final Big Ten ACC Challenge, concluding this week for a variety of reasons, which we can visit about. But a great effort, I thought, by Chris and the Hawks last night.
Came out with a purpose, Gary. Double-doubles for Chris Murray down in Florida. 10 points, 11 rebounds, 11 points, 10 rebounds in the other game. You know, you need Chris to be up around 20 points a game, I think, for this team to have great success. So you kind of knew he was going to bounce back, and he came out on fire. And to see him get, 31 points, career high. But the rebounding early was really impressive. He attacked the glass, and I just haven't seen a college player, other than his brother. Keegan, I guess, did it one time against North Carolina Central, I think it was, I read today, for a Hawkeye. Bruce King did it back in 1977, had 20-plus rebounds and 30-plus points. So impressive. Connor McCaffery was really good, solid play out of Connor. He had a double-double, 10 points, 10 rebounds. But kids look focused. Fran went with an 8-man rotation and changed the starting lineup. Aaron Eulis got in there, and he had 5 assists to lead the Hawkeyes. He is a nice point guard, really growing into that role. So, yeah, coming out of Florida, never easy. Come back home, had a nice crowd, a lot of energy in the building, and the Hawks performed. So congratulations to them. Off to a great start, 6-1 right now. And the competition, we're in the middle of 6 games, Gary, against Power 5 schools. Clemson, TCU, Georgia Tech, and now Duke, Iowa State, and Wisconsin on the schedule. So we'll talk to Fran about that, how he set this schedule up. Did it with a purpose to strengthen the schedule and to get this team ready for the Big Ten.
Yeah, last night was the second of 3 games against ACC opponents. Duke, of course, comes up on Tuesday night at Madison Square Garden. You and I have been there a number of times to call basketball games. There's nothing like the thrill of either playing or broadcasting a game inside the Madison Square Garden. It is one of the world's great wonders, particularly athletically.
Yeah, it's unique, Gary, no doubt about it. Sits down there on, 35th Street and sits above the subway station, and just a just beehive of activity all around there, across the street from the New York City Post Office, which is impressive in itself. But yeah, been out there in my years in the NBA and played a lot of times out there, had some battles, especially with the Bulls and the Knicks. Had a 7-game series out there. Patrick Ewing and John Starks and that crew, Anthony Mason. There's no other arena like it, and it's always, I know, they call it the Mecca of college basketball, when you walk around the mezzanine, Gary, and you look into the Pope has been there, Frank Sinatra has played there, WrestleMania. They've got quite a museum of events that have gone on there in that arena, and always fun to get back there, and it's a treat for everybody when you go and participate.
I can remember growing up watching Willis Reed and some of those great Knick teams taking on the Celtics. With Nelly and Havlicek, and man, it's great memories. Madison Square Garden, and the Hawkeyes have had a lot of great success. The championship round of the NIT a few years back, and Iowa's played awfully well in Madison Square Garden. And of course, Coach McCaffery grew up not too far away in Philadelphia, so he knows all about East Coast basketball, and in particular Madison Square Garden. For the moment, we'll talk about Iowa's win last night, and then look ahead to the Duke game. Congratulations to both Chris Murray and Patrick McCaffery. They made the all-tournament team at the Emerald Coast Classic this past weekend down in the Panhandle and the Emerald Coast Classic in Florida. We're brought to you by our great Hawkeye Radio Network sponsors, per usual. But let's start with the Hyatt Regency and Matt and his great staff here. Matt Treto, who's been very generous and gracious to host our show for a second consecutive year. This is Hawk Talk with Coach McCaffery, coming to you live from the Hyatt Regency, Coralville's Edgewater Bar and Grill, where you can enjoy extended happy hour until 8:30 tonight. We're on the air until 8:30. Please stop by if you're in the neighborhood, or make it a point to come out each week as we host from here. Come and try their brand new menu and enjoy nightly specials, including $2 Michelob draft beers, 1/2 off glasses of select wines, and buy one, get 1/2 off appetizers and sandwiches. Each time you come to the show, you'll automatically be entered into the hotel's drawing to win a range of prizes, including a free room night giveaway each week here at the Hyatt Regency in the beautiful Iowa River Landing. All entries will be pooled together for a grand prize drawing at the end of the season. A little bit later on, we'll get Fran's Club Car Wash keys to the game. Duke lies immediately ahead. We're also sponsored tonight by Authentic Brand, and Authentic Brand is playing a prime role in our Hawk Talks with Coach McCaffery each week this season. Submit an interesting question each week via Twitter at Gary Dolphin, or on Facebook at Voice of the Hawks. Let me give you that exact address, facebook.com/Voice of the Hawks, or on Twitter at Gary Dolphin. Enter a comment or a question for Coach. Bobby and I will pick one each week, and that winning entry wins a $100 gift certificate from Authentic Brand. Thanks to Authentic Brand for the $100 gift certificate. Authentic Brand is a proud partner, not only outfitting our broadcast crew each and every game night, but outfitting thousands of fans on game day. Gear up for game day and every day, and officially licensed Hawkeye apparel and accessories from Authentic Brand. Bobby, the rebounding last night was spectacular as well. The Hawks bounced back from a deficit on the boards against Texas Christian and really mauled the glass, particularly the offensive board last night.
Early too, Gary. You could see that it was something that they had discussed and worked on, and everybody went to the offensive glass. I think Chris Murray had 6 offensive rebounds in the first half. Early in that game, you could see he was active. He was quick off his feet against TCU. They had a big aircraft carrier guy in there. Eddie Lampkin had 9 rebounds, 5 of them offensively, and he was just taking up space in there. And the Hawks got a pretty good on the boards there. But this one, they bounced back, winning the battle of the boards, 44-35. Second chance points. The Hawkeyes got 27 second chance points on 19 offensive rebounds. So that's playing with a purpose right there, and that's being productive, going and getting the basketball and then making something happen out of it. So I think all season long, Gary, that's going to be a key. And you got to have all 5 guys get on that defensive board, keep them off their offensive glass. Philip Rebraca is much improved, I think, inside. He's holding his own. 6'8", 6'7", Philip. There's no back down in that guy right there. Rebraca, he brings it every night. He had 5 offensive rebounds, 5 of his 7 total boards. So impressive off the glass all season long. That's going to be one of our keys to watch.
Very important, headed to New York City for the Duke Blue Devils on Tuesday. And then, of course, the Big Ten schedule, which a couple games pop up in December as they have the past couple years. Heading into tonight's action, the Big Ten has won 3 and lost 5 in the Big Ten ACC Challenge. We'll review some of the scores from last night, take a look at scores tonight, including that Ohio State-Duke game, which is presently underway. We'll step out, take our first break here. Again, we're at the Hyatt Regency in Coralville, the Iowa River Landing, the Edgewater Bar and Grill. Our opening night for Hawk Talk with Coach McCaffery comes back in just a minute. This is Hawk Talk with Coach McCaffery from Learfield.
Running a business is a lot of work. Luckily, I've got a great partner.
Oh, I think you...
I meant U.S. Bank.
I knew that.
U.S. Bank Business Essentials is a huge help to us.
Totally. Their comprehensive point-of-sale system does it all. Tracks inventory, manages schedules, customizes orders.
Plus, all the regular banking stuff.
If only it could make coffee.
Nah, that's your job.
From point of sale to quick loans, we have many ways to make your business boom. That's what U.S. Bank is for. U.S. Bank. We'll get there together. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
After a cancer diagnosis, it's natural to want to start treatment right away. But first, get a second opinion from a team that specializes in your cancer. I'm Dr. George Weiner, Director of University of Iowa Holden Comprehensive Cancer Center. Before you start treatment, you deserve to be confident you have the right diagnosis and know every option available to you. So whether it's with us or somewhere else, get a second opinion. It can change your care and your life.
When you open a crisp, cold Bud Light, you know game day is here.
You owe me $5.
We mean every sound. Enjoy responsibly. 2022 Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Introducing new Bud Light Seltzer Hard Soda Variety Pack. You hear that? It's seltzer with the pop of soda, all with zero sugar. Bud Light Seltzer Hard Soda, the loudest flavors ever. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Seltzer Hard Soda, IRC Beers, St. Louis, Missouri.
We all love a good win. Catching up with friends, saving money at the pump, soaking up the perfect Iowa day, sitting down to a really, really good meal. These are the everyday delights that make us smile. These are the moments that connect us all as Iowans. And these are the wins that, more often than not, start with Iowa's farm families and the crop they're growing. Because when corn grows Iowa, Iowans win. Learn more about how to share your own wins at iowacorn.org/IowansWin.
Contractors, you're busier than ever this fall, but you've got this with high-quality building materials from Spahn & Rose, like GAF. Use the Spahn & Rose Visualizer to plan the perfect roof and blend an elegant architectural look with exceptional performance. GAF, we protect what matters the most. With several Spahn & Rose locations nearby, you can focus on life's other important things this fall. Spahn & Rose, buy easier, build better.
Get a Hy-Vee Plus Premium membership for just $99 a year and get fuel savings every time you shop in-store and online. Plus, exclusive deals and offers every month. Plus, free standard delivery and free express pickup. With Hy-Vee Plus, our plus equals more. For a limited time, get $50 off an annual Hy-Vee Plus membership with code SAVEBIG. That's right, get $50 off a Hy-Vee Plus membership with code SAVEBIG.
We're back on Hawk Talk. Good evening and welcome back to the Hyatt Regency in Coralville's Edgewater Bar and Grill for Hawk Talk with Coach McCaffery. I'm Gary Dauphin alongside former Hawkeye great Bobby Hansen, and we'll be here each and every week for 90 minutes. Let's give you a U.S. Bank scoreboard update from tonight's play in the Big Ten ACC Challenge. Purdue at halftime has a 34-32 lead at Florida State. That's at the half. Likewise, at halftime, Duke trailed early against Ohio State, but the Devils have roared back, and they lead the Buckeyes by 10 at the break, 39-29, and that is down in Raleigh-Durham. Duke ranked 17th. The Buckeyes ranked number 25. Purdue, after that whipping of Duke over the weekend out in Portland, Purdue ranked 5th this week, and they lead Florida State by 2 at the break. Rutgers has a 1-point lead at the half on Miami. And later tonight, the later games have 10th-ranked Indiana hosting North Carolina. That'll be a Donnybrook indeed. 20th-ranked Michigan State is visiting South Bend to take on Notre Dame. And Boston College and Nebraska will wrap up the six-pack tonight on the U.S. Bank scoreboard. Big Ten has won 3 and lost 5 to this point. So they need nearly a sweep tonight to pull it out of the fire. Across 23 seasons, the ACC has won 12. The Big Ten has won 8 times, and there have been 3 years where they were dead level, even at the number of victories apiece. Hawk Talk is brought to you by Bud Light. Hawk Talk with Coach McCaffery, sponsored by Bud Light. Bud Light proudly welcomes Hawk fans to Carver Hawkeye Arena this year. Bud Light is for the fans. Good crowd last night, Bobby. A little over 10,000 paid, showed up and rooted their Hawkeyes on to victory. Iowa fans love their basketball.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought the crowd was good. I mean, it's a late game, 8 o'clock start on a what is it, Monday night or Tuesday night? That's
school night.
School night, and students are kind of preparing for the final exams. But they came and cheered them on, and they were treated to quite a show by Chris Murray, 31-20.
Connor McCaffery came off the bench. He was at a critical juncture in the first quarter. The Hawks were kind of looking for a spark, and boy, did he give it to them with back-to-back three-point goals. Connor ends the night with 10 points, 10 rebounds, 3 assists, no turnovers. We had him as our Old Dominion best of the best on the postgame show. We'll have Chris Murray a lot this year, but I thought Connor was a difference maker last night.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. He's a difference maker in every game that he's come in here for the most part of this season, Gary. He's the veteran guy. Fran mixes him in there with the second group. He's the sixth man. He comes in there. He can play all 5 positions. Played a lot of point guard last night. Was bringing the basketball up a lot, setting his guys up. Playing that zone. It was a weird little zone that Georgia Tech played. Looked like a 1-3-1 to me. It could have been a 2-3 whatever matchup, but Connor was finding the open guys, and it's contagious, Gary. Hawks do such a great job moving the basketball, sharing the basketball, get the assist. They don't turn it over. It's going to be another key all season long. The Hawks sitting atop the nation assist to turnover ratio last night, just 9 turnovers, and had 21 assists on 27 made baskets. A lot of that is Connor.
Yeah, they've been at the top of the charts the last several years in the country in assist to turnover ratio. Right now they're at 1.9 to 1. 2 to 1 is off the charts. It always is, and has a lot to do with Connor McCaffery. Posted his first career double-double last night. 10 points, 10 rebounds. And the 10 rebounds, that's a season best for the Hawkeye senior. Coach McCaffery, meanwhile, is within 1 victory of 500, 499 last night. And hopefully, boy, what a mark that would be on his resume to get 500, number 500 against Duke.
Yeah, that's the plan, my man, to take it home there in Madison Square Garden. But it's a testament to Fran being in the game many years. Great teams. He'll talk about it a lot. We briefly touched on it in our post-game comments. His players, his staff, his athletic directors that he's been part of guys in his corner. So, yeah, anytime you get to those milestones, it has to be celebrated.
Fran will join us after this next time out here from the Hyatt Regency and the Edgewater Bar and Grill on Hawk Talk with Coach McCaffery from Learfield.
Contractors, you're busier than ever this fall, but you've got this with high-quality building materials from Spahn & Rose, like GAF. Use the Spahn & Rose Visualizer to plan the perfect roof and blend an elegant architectural look with exceptional performance. GAF, we protect what matters the most. With several Spahn & Rose locations nearby, you can focus on life's other important things this fall. Spahn & Rose, buy easier, build better.
We all love a good win. Catching up with friends, saving money at the pump, soaking up the perfect Iowa day, sitting down to a really, really good meal. These are the everyday delights that make us smile. These are the moments that connect us all as Iowans. And these are the wins that, more often than not, start with Iowa's farm families and the crop they're growing. Because when corn grows Iowa, Iowans win. Learn more about how to share your own wins at iowacorn.org/IowansWin.
When you set up a savings goal with U.S. Bank, it grows with you. There's no limit to what you can crochet. Can do. Doesn't have to be crocheting, but it totally could be. Like the headphones you're listening to this ad with, you could totally crochet those. There's no telling where your savings goal will take you. Maybe you'll save enough for yarn to crochet your house or the whole town. Oh, right. Doesn't have to be crochet related.
Set up savings goals on the U.S. Bank mobile app, even for the wildest of dreams. U.S. Bank. We'll get there together. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
U.S. Cellular has always believed that connection is the greatest gift of all. That's why we're offering one line for $29.99 a month with unlimited data. That's right, one line, unlimited data for just $29.99 a month per line. Even just one line. Because the only way to make the greatest gift of all even greater is not having to add more lines than you need to get it. Visit us in-store or online to get one line for $29.99 a month with unlimited data today. U.S. Cellular. Locally grown connection. Limited time offer. Terms apply. Visit uscellular.com for details.
Woo! Got my nachos, got my big TV, and my favorite chair. It's game time. But you know, the only thing that would make it a little better is if I could listen to my local broadcasters while watching the game.
Oh, hello. You must have wished for your game to be synced with TV and radio.
I sure did.
Do you have a DVR?
You bet.
Do you have a streaming device?
Yeah.
Blammo! Your game is now synced. It's that easy.
Oh, boy.
To see if you can get synced, head to syncmygame.com from Learfield.
Syncmygame.com?
Syncmygame.com.
The holidays are for making memories, and Honda can help you make them. Whether it's hauling presents in a capable Ridgeline, going sledding in an adventurous Pilot, or traveling in a rugged Passport or CR-V. Make memories during Happy Honda Days. Buy online, reserve from select dealers, or visit your local Honda dealer.
New Hondas are arriving daily at your Central Midwest Honda dealer. Honda gets the Midwest.
See dealer for financing details.
We're back on Hawk Talk with Iowa basketball coach Fran McCaffery. Welcome back to the Hyatt Regency in Coralville, the Edgewater Bar and Grill on the beautiful Iowa River Landing. I drove in tonight. I saw the big banner up the street, Dan Gable's Donnybrook. That'll be some Donnybrook with youth wrestling event this weekend. Can you imagine several hundred young guys, ages 6 to 13 or 14, coach, all going after each other in the name of Dan Gable? That should be something.
Yeah. It's, wrestlers are different.
They're why do you say that? Tom Brands?
Well, he's the poster child.
He is the poster child.
He's really one of the most interesting coaches I've ever known, and good friend. Somebody that
he loves you and loves Kirk.
Unbelievable job he does. But I can only imagine him back in the day, just wrapping people up like a pretzel.
Wrestling his twin brother.
Yeah. Imagine him and Terry walking down the main street in Sheldon, Iowa. Everybody running in the other direction.
Yeah.
Here come the Brands boys. Well, good luck to Coach Gable and the Dan Gable Donnybrook. That has a great ring to it.
Great example of, Dan is such an ambassador for that sport on so many different levels.
Sure is.
Certainly, in terms of the Olympics and maintaining wrestling as an Olympic sport. Not very many people could have pulled that off, and he did. Spreading it not only to the young people, as you pointed out, but to the women's side. And now we have a women's wrestling program, and it just promotes the sport.
Sure does. It's only going to get bigger in this state and across the country.
Yep.
Well, let's talk some basketball. Congratulations, a great win last night. What pleased you most?
You know what, Dolph? It was a strange game. Early on, we wanted to go inside, and then we weren't making our free throws, but we were fighting. Phillip was terrific. He had 13 points. He was off a little bit from the free throw line in the beginning of the game. We missed 8 free throws in the first half, and didn't shoot it well from 3 in the first half, except for Connor. So, I think, Bobby pointed out before, Chris's offensive rebounding in the first half was a big factor in the game. Getting second shot opportunities and getting points on the board when, it seemingly we didn't score. They had to stop. So that was important. You're playing a team that changes defenses. So they're sitting in a zone. A good portion of the time, they played a lot more man in the second half, and we ended up playing more zone in the second half. And they were very deliberate against our press and against our zone. They moved it, and they spread the offense around. But I think, the difference was probably the fact that we dominated the glass. If you look at one thing that obviously Chris's performance was spectacular, so was Connor's, but I think it was the rebounding numbers that was the difference in the game.
27 second chance points. That'll win you a lot of basketball games when it's not going in, and you're going to have those nights.
And they made a couple really good runs at us, and they made 2 good runs at us in the second half, and we still had a lead, and that's how you keep the lead.
Fran, I never felt threatened, though. Just sitting there watching the game and analyzing the game, I never thought that they'd get over that hump. You guys always had an answer, and maybe it's because of the performance of as you mentioned, Connor and Chris going at it. But what was that defense, the zone defense? Was it a 1-3-1, played a little bit differently, or?
Well, they play primarily. It's a 1-1-3. It's not unlike. It's not unlike what Syracuse does. I mean, it's kind of how we play it. You put somebody at the top at the point of attack. You bring your forwards up, and you try to keep the offense sort of up towards the 10-second line rather than attacking the high post or the baseline. And they're jumping passing lanes. They didn't have a lot of size in terms of 6'11", 7-footers, but they had a lot of guys from in the 6'5" to 6'7" range that were long and athletic. So they're jumping passing lanes and they're active on the ball. And then what they'll do is, they'll play a little 1-3-1 and then 1-1-3, and then they'll play the man-to-man, and they'll switch. So it almost looks like a matchup at times. So they're basically trying to get you to play side to side, and it's a sound strategy. And as especially when the shot clock's running down and so forth. So, our intention was to screen and cut and drive and kick and overload and in and out, swing it to the weak side, attack the closeout. And if you remember in the first half, they played a lot more zone than they did in the second half. We had a stretch there where we were settling for jump shots. They were pretty, they weren't, totally contested, but, we weren't hitting. And, that's where I think Connor in particular, he threw it, when the ball was moving, and we start cutting, he got Chris at the front of the rim, he got Peyton at the front of the rim for baskets. And that will shrink the defense a little bit and then allow you to have more perimeter jump shot opportunities. And, I thought, like you said, Bobby, and there was the times when they made their runs, we were able to answer and maintain our composure.
Which was important because when you're playing multiple defenses like that, it's easy to start turning the ball over. And the Hawks at the end of the game had just 9 turnovers. I thought that was critical. The points off turnovers were about dead even, but the fact that you kept it in single digits, I think, was a testament again to not only your team but to Connor. He's such a floor general out there. He settled everybody down.
He does, especially when the young guys come in. He's terrific. The other thing is when teams are changing defenses like that, a lot of times, you have, okay, we run this against a 2-3, we run that against a 1-3-1, we run this against a 3-2, and we're going to do this or this against man-to-man. So when teams are changing defenses, sometimes the players try to figure out, okay, what are they in? Okay, now I know what they're in, now I know what to run. And I think if you end up doing that, you end up basically wasting the entire shot clock. And that's exactly what they want. So, we said we're just going to run motion action against whatever they're in. If it's man, if it's 1-3-1, if it's 2-3, if it's 1-1-3, we just move it, share it, drive, kick, and don't worry about plays. Like, we're not running plays. We're going to just go make plays. Take the space that they give you. If they get on the side of you, drive it. If they're square you off, pass fake, move it. And I thought, when you see we have 21 assists on 27 baskets, we only had 9 turns. That's for a little bit less, but we'll take 21 and 9.
Not to beat him up, but Phillip had 5 of those. I don't know if they were turnovers or he was bringing the ball up to shoot.
He held on to it a couple times in traffic. And one went off his leg. He tried to spin, it went off his leg. But a couple times he turned and expose the ball. He's usually really good at, chest to rim, we call it, bring it in tight and then go up. He's usually really good with that. But they poked him a couple times.
Coming into the game, doing a little scouting on Javon Franklin, the guy's averaging almost 3 blocks a game. I think he got one early, and that was it.
He was really impressive on film. And he had just kind of moved into the starting lineup. At the start of the season, he was not starting. Josh moved him into the starting lineup. He had like a 19-14 game a couple games ago, which really locked him into the starting position. And he has tremendous athletic power, really bouncy, had 5 blocks in a game this year. But he's not really a center. He's just an athletic, powerful guy. And when they run that Princeton stuff, he's good at the elbow. So you can put him there. He can rip and drive if you start leaning one way or the other. Then he's a good offensive rebounder.
Coach, we had Josh on prior to the game. We had him on live because he was kind of running a little bit late, but he had glowing remarks for Coach Olson. I know your relationship with Lute there, so he spent a good 5 minutes talking about Lute. So what's your relationship with Josh?
Well, I have a lot of respect for Josh. And I tell this story. You would refer to us as professional colleagues. Like, I knew him. I knew his dad. His dad used to run a lot of AAU events. So most every coach in the country knew Josh's dad, Hal Pastner, great guy. And, I watched Josh play, and I remember when he went to play for Coach. But, when Patrick got sick, 8 years ago, he reached out to me, Josh. He was the coach at Memphis at the time. And he said, if you need any help, if you need to get him into St. Jude's, just let me know. We can make that happen, which I really appreciated. Margaret and I both. Luckily, we have the Holden Comprehensive Cancer Center here. But a lot of times, like if you live in different parts of the country, you're trying to get to St. Jude's or you're trying to get to Sloan Kettering in New York. If you don't have something like this here. So I just always appreciated that gesture. I've always admired his coaching. He did a great job at Memphis, did a great job at Georgia Tech. They won the ACC championship 2 years ago. They're rebuilding. They lost their top 3 guys. He got some guys out of the portal. So it's a new team. He's got a few veteran guys, but they're not veterans at Georgia Tech. And they're doing a really good job running that Princeton stuff. So, I think they're going to have a good season.
Has he always ran Princeton offense? That was surprising.
I don't think he did that at Memphis.
Yeah, I don't either.
I think he was going. But, it's hard to guard.
Got you a couple times.
It's hard to guard, and they're pretty good at it. A lot of teams try it, and what they do is they just kind of break down and go off on their own. Like, that's enough. We're not going to stay with it. And he gives them enough freedom because he's got some guys that can go. Like, it's not like he just has 1 or 2 guys that can score. He has a number of different guys who can go off the dribble, who can go in there and dunk it, who can take it coast to coast. And but then he reels them in, and they start running some action. And they got us on the double back cut the one time, and then they do a wing exchange kind of thing. And then the one time Connor and Peyton ran into each other, and I think they got Aaron Eulis one time, hit the post, and he cut off the post. And Aaron was going hard, but they got him on that one. So
not bad when you play. It's a weird offense.
But it just keeps coming. It keeps coming at you. And I was telling what. When I was in college, we played Princeton twice a year, and we had to beat them to get to the NCAA tournament. And the regular season champion would go to the NCAA tournament, and we were the 2 best teams. So if we lost to them, they were going. If we beat them, we were going. And we used to have to guard that stuff, Bobby, with no clock.
With no clock. Yeah,
you'd be guarding that stuff for 2.5, 3 minutes.
Your head is
just constantly.
Dribble at you.
Dribble at back, and you're pressuring the pass every time. Because if you don't pressure the pass, it doesn't matter what the guy does. They're going to hit you. They're going to find the guy. So
I had flashbacks to Bill Carmody last night over at Northwestern. Bill ran that Princeton.
It's one of the reasons they hired him at Northwestern.
Yeah, he's got great experience from out east when he was coaching out there.
I never really played against it, but when Jordan was making a comeback, we had these secret scrimmages downtown Chicago. Mitch Henderson and Craig Robinson would come, and those two guys, when you're playing a pickup game, they're running the Princeton back cuts on you. It's like, slow down here, guys.
Yeah, Pete was amazing with that. And I remember my senior year, the first time we played him was at the Palestra. It was a nationally televised game, and it was a fist fight. We beat them 43-40.
No clock.
I'm sure the nation really enjoyed watching that.
Live from the Palestra.
43-40. Everybody's bleeding and
bruised, black eyes.
But I mean, you talk about the intensity that it took to stay in your stance for 2.5 minutes, 3 minutes at a time. You know, with back cuts, curl cuts, flares. And one thing Pete did, he was way ahead of his time. He would not recruit a big guy unless he could pass and shoot from the top of the key. And which is interesting because in those days it wasn't worth 3 points. It was only worth 2. So very few people were shooting from the top. Why would you shoot from out there?
Further away from the basket.
And there's no clock, so we'll just keep moving until we get a better shot, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, he didn't have that. But if he did have a big guy, he could pass, and he could shoot. And he had some great points.
You go right on. I mean, I could Bobby Roma, Richie Simkus. I mean, these guys were phenomenal players, and they would run their offense through their 5-man and spread you out. And if you didn't stay locked in, if you relaxed for 1 second, if you stood up, your man gave it up and you stood up, it was over.
Yeah. Made a guy like Bill Bradley look pretty good.
Yeah.
Not that he needed help.
No. But, you know, at some point you got to shoot it in the hole, and that's what he did.
Oh, boy, did he ever. What a great shooter he was. Yeah, I mentioned Patrick and his battle with thyroid cancer. It'd be a good time to mention that he's involved next week at the Jimmy V Classic with, I don't know if you call it a mini documentary, but he's going to have a very poignant message for the country.
Yeah, you know, they played it last night before during one of the timeouts. Yeah, it was on, because this is Jimmy V week, so he did a little PSA intro. It was Giving Tuesday, so they were trying to get people to donate.
That's right, it was. Yeah.
And he just said, you know, Patrick McCaffery, thyroid cancer survivor, you know, please participate in Jimmy V week. And then they provide you with the information so that you can contribute.
That's terrific.
How is his health? All behind him now?
Well, I mean, on some levels, but, you know, he doesn't have a thyroid, so he has to take medicine so that does what his thyroid would normally do. And, you know, so there's times when he's a little more tired or, you know, and he's constantly getting his blood checked, blood work done, get his levels checked. They go up, they go down, and that determines how he feels. So we just have to be aware and make sure we get him some rest.
Keep an eye on the numbers.
Yeah.
Coach, I want to let our audience know if you'd like to reach out to Fran, you can ask him a question or make a comment at Gary Dolphin on Twitter, at Gary Dolphin, or on Facebook at facebook.com/Voice of the Hawks. Let's take a couple of those before we take a break here. Brandon checks in on Facebook. Coach, Fran, besides the effort, what did you like most in the loss to TCU, given the fact of the competition you were playing was certainly ratcheted up a notch or two, really Clemson and TCU. What'd you take out of the weekend?
Yeah, the Clemson was a really good win. I was very impressed with them on film. They're really big. They had really good wing players and guards, and they really challenged us. We had a hard-fought win. Come back with no rest, essentially, and played a very physical, big, strong team. Got down 11-0, tied it, pretty much stayed even the rest of the first half. Hung with them in the second half for a little while. They made a run, and we didn't respond the way we should have. It wasn't a lack of effort. We were being aggressive. We were attacking, kind of like we do. But we had a tendency to quick shoot the ball and, you know, kind of try to get it all back at once. You know, because it was really a 2-possession game. Then all of a sudden, they hit it, we missed, and they hit it, and all of a sudden you look up and you're down 11.
Yeah.
Well, there was still like 10 minutes to go in the game. You know, not time to panic.
Plenty of time,
we just kind of really rushed ourselves and kind of played into it and really never were able to take hold of that game again. I thought we could come back, cut it to 3, get it to even, and then take our shot at the end. And we were not able to do that.
And, Coach, the positive of that, you called the timeout there early in the game. You brought in, I think, Dasante Bowen, Connor, and Ulis, and they really brought a spark to that game.
The defense that they played, and then our ability to then turn that into fast break opportunities was the difference in the game.
Yeah,
that was really, we erased that lead pretty quickly with those guys.
Yep.
Yeah.
Let's take one on Twitter, Coach, before we head to a break. Jody wants to know if you have any rituals before a game, any continuous practices that you might be superstitious about, or make sure you always.
No, I'm not a superstitious guy. So, the pregame ritual, as you know, is we have a walkthrough where in the shoot around. So it's a combination walkthrough shoot around. So the guys will get a lot of shots up. They'll get comfortable shooting the ball, especially on the road, which is important because it might be a different ball, a different arena, a different atmosphere, different baskets, that kind of thing. And then we do the walkthrough. So we go through our stuff and their stuff. And then we do a quiz. So we quiz the guys.
Right.
So it's very business-like and the same every time. And then we eat 4 hours before the game. I typically don't come out on the floor. Some coaches do. I mean, I sometimes do on the road. I'll go out and I'll talk to the coaches on the other team if, obviously some of them are friends, some of them are colleagues. But for the most part, I don't come out.
So there you have
nothing really unique.
Nothing quirky.
Yeah, nothing interesting.
Well, I've never seen you participate in the half-court shot at the end of the practice on game day.
No, that's a big deal.
It is.
With our
There's
guys.
like 25 guys lined up. Student managers, assistant coaches,
Brad Floyd,
trainers. There's some great.
Used to be Spiro. Spiro made about 10 of them.
Well, he was a great shooter.
Yeah.
But there are some interesting forms in shooting from half court.
Starting with Jack Devlin, the two-hand set shot. Looks like Larry Costello.
He's money, though.
Money. He's money.
Larry Costello. Yeah, it helped pay for his education.
He does this.
We're gonna do an interview with Jack, by the way, this weekend out in the Big Apple.
Great.
Carry it at some point on Tuesday night.
He is hilarious.
He is the best. All right, we're going to take a break, come back with Coach McCaffery. Again, we're live. Opening night for Hawk Talk with Coach McCaffery from the Hyatt Regency in Coralville's Edgewater Bar and Grill. And they're gearing up for the holidays. Breakfast with Santa is back here at the Hyatt Regency Coralville on December 17th, so write that down. This family-friendly breakfast includes a photo with Santa and Mrs. Claus, a holiday craft and gift, as well as the chance to write a letter to Santa. Cash bar will also be available for Mom and Dad to enjoy holiday cocktails like mimosas and spiked hot cocoa with a complimentary first drink for each adult. To make your reservation, visit the Hyatt Regency Coralville Facebook page or by calling 319-887-5004. 319-887-5004. Hyatt Regency, getting ready for the holidays with you. Hawk Talk with Coach McCaffery comes back to the Hyatt Regency and the Edgewater Bar and Grill in just a minute. This is Hawk Talk from Learfield.
We all love a good win. Catching up with friends, saving money at the pump, soaking up the perfect Iowa day, sitting down to a really, really good meal. These are the everyday delights that make us smile. These are the moments that connect us all as Iowans. And these are the wins that, more often than not, start with Iowa's farm families and the crop they're growing. Because when corn grows Iowa, Iowans win. Learn more about how to share your own wins at iowacorn.org/IowansWin.
Knowing that I can make a difference in my patients' lives keeps me motivated every single day. Hi, I'm Dr. Kanya Ferguson at University of Iowa Healthcare. With academic medicine, we see the toughest cases, so we're always innovating. And we bring the best minds together to collaborate, so there's more brain power focused on you. Because that leads to exceptional care for our patients and our community. See how at uihc.org.
U.S. Cellular has always believed that connection is the greatest gift of all. That's why we're offering any phone, any brand, any storage for free for everyone, new and current customers. Plus, our price protection guarantee means your rates won't go up. Because locally grown connection is the gift that keeps on giving. Visit us in-store or online to get any phone, any brand, any storage free today. U.S. Cellular, locally grown connection. Limited time offer, terms apply. Visit uscellular.com for details.
When you open a crisp, cold Bud Light, you know game day is here.
You owe me $5.
We mean every sound. Enjoy responsibly. 2022 Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Introducing new Bud Light Seltzer Hard Soda Variety Pack. You hear that? It's seltzer with the pop of soda, all with zero sugar. Bud Light Seltzer Hard Soda, the loudest flavors ever. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Seltzer Hard Soda, IRC Beers, St. Louis, Missouri.
Get a Hy-Vee Plus Premium membership for just $99 a year and get fuel savings every time you shop in-store and online. Plus, exclusive deals and offers every month. Plus, free standard delivery and free express pickup. With Hy-Vee Plus, our plus equals more. For a limited time, get $50 off an annual Hy-Vee Plus membership with code SAVEBIG. That's right, get $50 off a Hy-Vee Plus membership with code SAVEBIG.
Woo! Got my nachos, got my big TV, and my favorite chair. It's game time. But you know, the only thing that would make it a little better is if I could listen to my local broadcasters while watching the game.
Ah, hello. You must have wished for your game to be synced with TV and radio.
I sure did.
Do you have a DVR?
You bet.
Do you have a streaming device?
Yeah.
Blammo! Your game is now synced. It's that easy.
Oh, boy.
To see if you can get synced, head to syncmygame.com from Learfield.
Syncmygame.com?
Syncmygame.com.
We're back on Hawk Talk with Iowa basketball coach Fran McCaffery. Thank you all for coming out tonight, and thank you all for tuning in on the Hawkeye Radio Network. Maybe you're out Christmas shopping, heading down the interstate for one reason or another. We appreciate you joining us on Hawk Talk with head coach McCaffery. Iowa 6-1 will play Duke at Madison Square Garden next Tuesday night. Now, that's the second game of a doubleheader. We'll be on the air around 7:30 with our pregame coverage. Tip-off scheduled for around 8:30 Iowa time. Illinois and Texas. That should be an outstanding basketball game, as ours should be. So it's a big doubleheader involving Big Ten teams. The Hawkeyes, the defending Big Ten champions, and the Fighting Illini taking on the Longhorns. And the Hawks engaging Duke immediately afterward. Speaking of Duke, they're in a tussle with the Ohio State Buckeyes as we speak. Just under 12 minutes to play in the game. The ACC Big Ten Challenge, that's down in Raleigh-Durham. Duke is holding on to a 6-point lead over 25th-ranked Ohio State. The Dukies are number 17 this week, 52-46. That's the updated score. Likewise, at the under 12-minute timeout, it's Purdue ranked 5th. Having a tough time at Florida State, but ahead 55-49. Another close game. Rutgers 56. Miami, it's now tied up. Rutgers had a 3-point lead. Miami just hit a 3. So with 6.5 to go down in on South Beach, it's Miami 56, Rutgers 56, and then later, 10th-ranked Indiana at home to number 18 North Carolina. 20th-ranked Michigan State is at Notre Dame, and later Nebraska will entertain Boston College. Now, the Hawkeye women's team, the Big Ten ACC challenge for the ladies is tomorrow and Friday, and tomorrow night it'll be the Hawkeyes hosting number 13 North Carolina State over at Carver Hawkeye Arena. You can hear the call here on the Hawkeye Radio Network with Rob and Jamie at 7:15 pregame, 7:30 for the tip-off on the Hawkeye Radio Network, and the official YouTube channel of the Iowa Hawkeyes with Rob Brooks and Jamie KV Lang as the Hawkeyes take on North Carolina State. Iowa ranked number 9, NC State at 13. Not to be outdone, we were talking about the Brands brothers earlier. Big wrestling meet coming up on Sunday, part of the Cy-Hawk series. Iowa hosting Iowa State. Coverage starts at 1:15 on our local affiliate here in Iowa City, KXIC Radio, and the official YouTube channel of the Iowa Hawkeyes. Stephen Grace and Mark Ironside will be on that call. Also coming up on Sunday, we'll find out where the Hawkeyes are going bowling late Sunday afternoon. Iowa football will be going somewhere over the Christmas and New Year's holiday, and we'll find out where exactly that is. And, of course, you Hawk fans will be all fired up for that, we know. Big Ten Ten honors for football yesterday and today. If you hadn't heard, Jack Campbell, who else? The Defensive Player of the Year in the Big Ten. He's not only the Defensive Player of the Year, he's voted the top linebacker in the conference as he wins the Nagurski-Woodson Defensive Player of the Year. Sam Laporta is the tight end of the year in the Big Ten. Congratulations to Sam. He wins the Qualic Clark, named after Dallas Clark, tight end trophy for the Iowa Hawkeyes. So some solid returns given the performances of some of our beloved Hawks on the football field this past year. We're talking basketball with Coach McCaffery. If you'd like to reach out to Fran, you can do so on Twitter at Gary Dolphin or on Facebook at facebook.com/Voice of the Hawkeye. Speaking of YouTube, we're on the YouTube Hawkeye channel live tonight with Coach Bobby Hansen and yours truly. Our engineer producer Corey Sheets has us all set up, and so you can not only listen in, you can watch our show each and every week from the Hyatt Regency here in the Iowa River Landing at Coralville's Edgewater Bar and Grill. All right, you're up to date courtesy of U.S. Bank. That's our U.S. Bank scoreboard update. We'll come back with more Facebook and Twitter posts for Coach McCaffery right after we pause on Hawk Talk with Coach McCaffery from Learfield.
U.S. Cellular has always believed that connection is the greatest gift of all. That's why we're offering one line for $29.99 a month with unlimited data. That's right, one line, unlimited data for just $29.99 a month per line. Even just one line. Because the only way to make the greatest gift of all even greater is not having to add more lines than you need to get it. Visit us in-store or online to get one line for $29.99 a month with unlimited data today. U.S. Cellular, locally grown connection. Limited time offer, terms apply. Visit uscellular.com for details.
When you open a crisp, cold Bud Light, you know game day is here.
You owe me $5.
We mean every sound. Enjoy responsibly. 2022 Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Introducing new Bud Light Seltzer Hard Soda Variety Pack. You hear that? It's seltzer with the pop of soda, all with zero sugar. Bud Light Seltzer Hard Soda, the loudest flavors ever. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Seltzer Hard Soda, IRC Beers, St. Louis, Missouri.
Get a Hy-Vee Plus Premium membership for just $99 a year and get fuel savings every time you shop in-store and online. Plus, exclusive deals and offers every month. Plus, free standard delivery and free express pickup. With Hy-Vee Plus, our plus equals more. For a limited time, get $50 off an annual Hy-Vee Plus membership with code SAVEBIG. That's right, get $50 off a Hy-Vee Plus membership with code SAVEBIG.
After a cancer diagnosis, it's natural to want to start treatment right away. But first, get a second opinion from a team that specializes in your cancer. I'm Dr. George Weiner, Director of University of Iowa Holden Comprehensive Cancer Center. Before you start treatment, you deserve to be confident you have the right diagnosis and know every option available to you. So whether it's with us or somewhere else, get a second opinion. It can change your care and your life.
How do you become America's best-selling brand? Let's break it down. Innovative tech means smarter and safer driving. Intelligent all-wheel drive will keep you ready for anything. And built Ford tough trucks will always get the job done. Plus, come into your local Ford store today and get super low APR financing, big cash back, and great lease offers on Ford's full line of cars, trucks, and SUVs. That's Ford, and that's how you become America's best-selling brand. Sales claim based on calendar year sales.
Contractors, you're busier than ever this fall, but you've got this with high-quality building materials from Spahn & Rose, like GAF. Use the Spahn & Rose Visualizer to plan the perfect roof and blend an elegant architectural look with exceptional performance. GAF, we protect what matters the most. With several Spahn & Rose locations nearby, you can focus on life's other important things this fall. Spahn & Rose, buy easier, build better.
Welcome back to Coralville's Iowa River Landing in the beautiful Hyatt Regency. We're in the Edgewater Bar and Grill, and a really nice turnout on opening night for Hawk Talk with Coach Fran McCaffery. I'm Gary Dolphin alongside former Hawkeye great Bobby Hansen, and we're going to go back to Twitter and Facebook here shortly, but I want to get Fran's thoughts on Chris Murray's performance last night. 30 points, 20, was it 20 or 21 rebounds? And let me double check.
21,
not that it really matters, but 30 plus 20, 4 threes. The first player, Fran, since Kevin Durant, I've heard that name before, since 2007 to put numbers up like that. Just a phenomenal performance, and one that he's capable of every night. You could see in that second half, you called that first time out in the second half when Tech made a little run there to start that second frame, and I told Bobby, I said, if this ball doesn't touch Chris Murray's hands on this possession, I'll be stunned, and he was demanding the ball, and boy, did he turn it on from that point on.
You know what, I thought he was great in both halves. I mean, he just...
For sure.
You know, that's just who he is. He dominated the glass in the first half. He scored a bunch in the first half. You know, I said after the game, a lot of people can get 30 points, but very few people get 20 rebounds. And you just mentioned very few people ever get 30 and 20 in the same game. But you know, he's a guy, I mean, he's put up 30 before, and he's always going to make threes. He's always going to get putbacks. He can drive the ball. But the way he's rebounding is going to have major impact on our season. And he knows that. And that's what I appreciate about him.
Bobby, you've gone up against many great players in your career, both collegiately and in the NBA. Chris Murray probably reminds you of a lot of guys. What do you like about his game most?
Under control. Nothing rattles him, Gary. And he's smooth. He scores so easy. And he lets the game come to him. And then all of a sudden, he's got 6 baskets in a row. I'm looking down at my run sheet there. That after you mentioned Fran called that quick timeout at 18-15, it was Chris. It was a Chris 3. It was another Chris 3. And then Tony got got a basket in there. But that's your leader right there. It's like a nuclear weapon to have. You have a guy like that on your side.
He's always ready to go off, Coach. And what I like about your style is you can use him in a lot of different ways. Underneath the basket, bringing the ball down the floor, on the wing. He's not he's fearless, regardless of the spot on the floor.
Yeah, that's what you have to do. I mean, we did it with Keegan. We did it with Luka. You know, a lot of times everybody says, "Wow, Luka was just on the low block." No, he wasn't. He was all over the floor. If you're always in the same place, you're easy to guard. Mm-hmm. And it's my job to make it easier for him to, be essentially unguardable. So he's going to have the ball. He's going to not have the ball. He's going to be in the post. He's going to pick and pop. He's going to pick and roll. He's going to bring it off the glass and push it himself. We're going to isolate him, give him space, and then be able to play through him to the point where if they want to start doubling him or running guys at him or loading to the ball, and then he has options. And he's not like, oh, now he's stymied. And we obviously did that last year with Keegan. Great example was the Indiana game semifinals of the tournament. They were really loaded up. And now it helps when you have a guy who can go out and make 8 threes, which he did. But it just came within the flow of everything. He didn't force anything. There was nothing selfish about it. And that's the key for both of those guys. And it's just fun to watch Chris right now play with confidence because, in the past, he would just beat himself up. He was he was such a perfectionist. And we finally, Chris, you're great. Like, you just do what you do. Get to the next play if you miss a shot. Get to the next play if you turn it over. Because you're not going to turn it over much. He's not going to miss many shots. But those guys, a lot of times when your leading scorers are selfish and they hunt shots and they basically bog down your offense because they chase the ball, they hunt the ball. If you run in motion and you have a selfish guy and he keeps running at the ball, nothing works.
Disruptive, yeah.
Nothing works with spacing. Nothing works with screening because he's always running on top of the ball. Now these 2 guys are standing next to each other. There is no spacing, and that's the. And even with Luka, who led the nation in scoring, he understood the motion offense. He would screen for people, and he would then realize, are they switching? Are they showing? I can slip. I can seal. I can post a small guy. He had great feel. So did Keegan, and so does Chris.
Oh, yeah, Chris, had the advantage. He got to go do the NBA evaluation alongside Keegan, in Chicago. What did he take from that, Fran, being around those type of guys?
Well, I think he realized, okay, these guys are all going to the pros, and I can too. So I think from a confidence standpoint, it was good. But, that outfit, Mark Bartelstein and Kyle McElharney and those guys, they know what they're doing. So the workouts that they put together are specifically suited for what NBA workouts will look like. And then, they also do the interviewing stuff, and they prepare you for that, which isn't really a big deal with the Murray twins. I mean, they'll knock it out of the park in an interview situation. But it's nice to know what kind of questions are coming and, how is it going to work. But the workouts, not only are they suited for the NBA, like I said, but you're with a group of guys that are NBA players. So if you consistently perform well, and they get drafted in the first round, it stands to reason that, I can do that too.
Great story. I mean, Keegan, 4th pick of the NBA draft and set up for life.
Yeah.
That's a great moment.
The highest Hawkeye, I think, ever drafted, if I'm not mistaken.
No question. Let's pause.
He's just going to keep getting better, too.
I'm going to pause 10 seconds here for station identification. We're at the top of the hour on Hawk Talk with Coach McCaffery from the Hyatt Regency and the Iowa River Landing. Let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. This is Hawk Talk with Coach McCaffery. Coach, let's go to Twitter here for a couple. North Iowa Hawkeye. You and I talked about this a couple weeks ago in discussing the tragedies at Virginia and on the University of Idaho campus. Do the Hawks, Coach, have basketball players, the Hawkeye basketball players, have a mental health coach?
We have, there's a number of ways we can go with that. We have 2 sports psychologists, and again, mental health can manifest itself in a lot of different ways.
For sure.
It might be, anxiety on the court. It might be sports specific, but it might be off the court that affects your performance on the court. Any number of reasons. So we have access to a number of mental health professionals that work directly with our student athletes. And then we have specific ones just for student athletes. So yeah, we take full advantage of the professionals that are associated with the program.
Big deal in the world now.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. It used to be, shut up, toughen up.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was the extent of your mental health advice. Just you need to toughen up. We don't want to hear about it.
Breathe.
Yeah. Now there's, especially in the world with social media and what comes at those kids and where they live on that. They live on their phones. So it's critical that they can process it, or which we recommend, you get into the season, just turn it off. But let's face it, a lot of guys aren't gonna. They're gonna stay reading it, and there's trolls out there that are messing with you. And so you have to really stay professional and handle what's coming at you. I always call it the trappings of the game. I can give you a scouting report, Dolph, and you can read it and process it, and then we can go through it on the floor, and you can basically perfect it. But there's a lot more that goes on in the day, whether it be something going on with your family, something going on with your girlfriend, something going on academically, something health related, something going on with a dear friend. And life continues. It doesn't stop because we have a basketball game.
It's a balance, no question
so,
about it. Yeah.
So I think that's a really good question, and I'm really proud that, Gary Barta puts emphasis on this, not just him, but, President Wilson and everybody in the athletic department, because at the end of the day, it's all about the student athlete.
Indeed, Coach. Let's let me dovetail to Steve, who would like to know who was your hero growing up and why. I suppose it doesn't have to be an athlete, but I'm sure you had a favorite one or two.
Yeah, if you look at athletes, like growing up, like in Philadelphia, I was a big Doug Collins guy. And
76ers.
He was the first pick in the draft in 1973. Was a superstar, NBA All-Star, and we've stayed close. It was like actually I got to know him. We kind of a twist of fate. When I was in college and he was with the pros, we both got operated on by the same doctor, and we rehabbed at Penn Sports Med. And when he retired, when he blew his knee out for the second time, was he was ready to make a comeback, and he quit at 31. He was young. He was still in his prime, but his knee went out on him. Because in those days, they couldn't spell load management. They just played all the time.
For sure.
And
so
the shoes, the
shoes weren't as good.
No.
They traveled commercially.
Yeah, 6 a.m.
It's just different. But he, his first coaching job was my senior year at Penn, so he was my coach. We worked with Coach Weinhauer, our head coach.
I did not know that. With is it Bob Weinhauer?
Bob Weinhauer was our head coach. And then when Coach, after my senior year, left to take the Arizona State job, Doug went with him. And he ended up quitting college basketball to do TV. Then he ended up getting into the pros on the coaching side. But of course, his son is Chris, who's a good friend.
Northwestern, sure.
Head coach at Northwestern.
Boy, he was good on TV, too. I loved him as an analyst.
Oh, my God. He was so good. He and Hubie Brown, I think, were the two best. I mean, just breaking it down.
They might be the all-time best.
Yeah, just really understood the game, understood how to explain it to people. And just a delightful guy.
For sure.
He moved back to Philly. His daughter lives there.
Ah, great.
And grandkids are there, so.
We'll see him at a Northwestern game on occasion.
Well, he used to be there all the time when he lived here, because he was, remember, he was consulting with the Bulls.
That's right.
He was hired as a consultant.
Yeah.
And then the pandemic, when the pandemic hit, he was very cautious.
He could play the game, for sure.
Yes, he could.
As could Hal Greer and Luke Jackson and Wilt.
Hal Greer.
I loved Hal.
He never
Greer
missed a 15-foot jumper in his life.
He did.
Never. Everyone went in.
He practiced it from the free throw line.
From the free throw line.
Hal Greer. He was one of my all-time favorites. Him and Oscar. I'm dating myself now, but
Wilt Chamberlain too was on that team. He wasn't bad.
No, that had to be early, Doug. I think of Doug would World Be Free.
Well, Doug was well after Hal Greer. He was well after.
Doug was like 73 through like 81, 82. Wilt was there, mid to late 60s. Because in 73, he was with the Lakers when they won it.
There you go.
And Hal was an established star by then as well, too. But those 76er teams were outstanding. Guys, we've got to take a break here. Time is escaping us. Hawk Talk will have an update scoreboard for you from the Big Ten ACC Challenge. We also will get Coach McCaffery's Club Car Wash keys to a victory over Duke next week. That's all ahead here on Hawk Talk from the Hyatt Regency in Coralville's River Landing. Hawk Talk continues in a minute. Hawk Talk with Coach McCaffery from Learfield.
Another season of women's and men's college sports is underway. Follow your alma mater or favorite team in their pursuit of the prestigious Learfield Directors Cup at L Directors Cup on Twitter and online at thedirectorscup.com. Trophies will be awarded in June 2023 to the winning institutions in all competitive divisions. Learfield Directors Cup, the crowning achievement in college athletics.
We all love a good win. Catching up with friends, saving money at the pump, soaking up the perfect Iowa day, sitting down to a really, really good meal. These are the everyday delights that make us smile. These are the moments that connect us all as Iowans. And these are the wins that, more often than not, Start with Iowa's farm families and the crop they're growing. Because when corn grows Iowa, Iowans win. Learn more about how to share your own wins at iowacorn.org/Iowans win.
Running a business is a lot of work. Luckily, I've got a great partner.
Oh, I think you...
I meant U.S. Bank.
I knew that.
U.S. Bank Business Essentials is a huge help to us.
Totally. Their comprehensive point-of-sale system does it all. Tracks inventory, manages schedules, customizes orders.
Plus all the regular banking stuff.
If only it could make coffee.
Nah, that's your job.
From point of sale to quick loans, we have many ways to make your business boom. That's what U.S. Bank is for. U.S. Bank. We'll get there together. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
U.S. Cellular has always believed that connection is the greatest gift of all. That's why we're offering any phone, any brand, any storage for free for everyone, new and current customers. Plus, our price protection guarantee means your rates won't go up. Because locally grown connection is the gift that keeps on giving. Visit us in-store or online to get any phone, any brand, any storage free today. U.S. Cellular, locally grown connection. Limited time offer, terms apply. Visit uscellular.com for details.
Contractors, you're busier than ever this fall, but you've got this with high-quality building materials from Spahn & Rose, like GAF. Use the Spahn & Rose Visualizer to plan the perfect roof and blend an elegant architectural look with exceptional performance. GAF, we protect what matters the most. With several Spahn & Rose locations nearby, you can focus on life's other important things this fall. Spahn & Rose, buy easier, build better.
The holidays are for making memories, and Honda can help you make them. Whether it's hauling presents in a capable Ridgeline, going sledding in an adventurous Pilot, or traveling in a rugged Passport or CR-V. Make memories during Happy Honda Days. Buy online, reserve from select dealers, or visit your local Honda dealer.
New Hondas are arriving daily at your Central Midwest Honda dealer. Honda gets the Midwest.
See dealer for financing details.
Welcome back to Hawk Talk in Coralville's Iowa River Landing. It's beautifully decorated for the holidays. Stop by the Hyatt Regency. Take in all the action here going on this holiday season for Christmas at the Hyatt Regency. They're planning a big holiday party. If you are planning a big holiday party, give them a call at 319-887-5004. They'd love to host your holiday get-together. Hawk Talk is brought to you by U.S. Cellular, bringing locally grown connection all season long with any phone free for new and current customers. That's right, any phone free, courtesy of U.S. Cellular. Let's get to Fran's Club Car Wash keys to the game, presented by the official car wash of the Iowa Hawkeyes. Club Car Wash with unlimited membership starting at just $20 a month. There's no better time to join the club. Visit clubcarwash.com and find a location near you. Right now, Duke leads Ohio State 70-62 with about 4.5 minutes to go in that game of the Big Ten ACC Challenge. Fran, where do you start with the Blue Devils? They've got a new coach. Coach K's no longer there, but John was a great player there, won a national championship. Where do you start with Duke?
Well, obviously they have really good players. I mean, they have a number of freshmen that are really excellent, but they got two transfers, grad transfers from our league. Jacob Granderson from Illinois and Ryan Young from Northwestern. Those two guys are critical players for them. But, you know, they have 3 of the top 6, I think, in the recruiting class. Kyle Filipowski's probably putting up the best numbers. The 7-foot guard, essentially, is what he is. But he's really rebounding well. But Jeremy Roach he can go now. He's a bucket getter. But Proctor's terrific, lively, shot blocker. Mitchell is really good. They've got a lot of pieces, what you would expect.
Sure.
You know, and I think John did a good job of taking that young group and adding those 2 grad transfer pieces.
Coach, expand a little bit on Kyle Filipowski and what his game's all about, what our fans will see and hear coming up on Tuesday night. I've watched a couple of their games, and you're right. He's a big man that's skilled and bring the ball down the court.
Yeah, he plays like a guard, so he can bring it down. He can shoot threes. He can block shots. He's tough and strong enough to rebound. Got great feel. We recruited him hard. I mean, he visited here.
He's a New York kid, right?
Upstate New York, but he went to prep school up in Massachusetts.
Okay.
So we recruited him. I talk to him all the time. I mean, he's just great kid. I mean, he is going to be a lottery pick this year.
He's got, like you say, a 7-foot point guard. He can play all over the floor.
Yeah, he's really he's got a unique game, but the modern day game is what he has.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Well, I see some Luka in him. I mean, Luka could play all over the floor and shoot the three.
Yeah, but you didn't look at Luka and say, okay, he can play guard. Like, this guy's a guard.
Point guard, yeah.
I mean, but Luka shot threes, and Luka could pass it. Luka was physical. You know, this kid is, he's NBA ready right now.
And his backup, Ryan Young, we saw at Northwestern, so you guys will know what he's all about. But he's taken his game up a notch, it looks like, down here at Duke.
He is a worker, Bobby. Like, he is relentless on the offensive glass. And he's a shot fake king. I mean, he gets shot fake, lean, reverse layup, up and under. He's a handful in there. And he's smart, and he's tough.
Real smart, yeah.
And when he's one of your backups, that's a pretty good backup. He's a fifth-year guy. His body's mature. So it's a good combination with those young kids, Lively and Filipowski and Roach, who's not a freshman, but Proctor, who is. He's big too. Proctor's like 6'5".
Those two grad transfers give them great experience to settle the young guys down in the heat of the battle. Elsewhere in the Big Ten ACC Challenge, Purdue has a 10-point lead on Florida State, so there's been some separation there between the Boilermakers and the Seminoles with a minute and a half to go in that game. Miami has rallied to beat Rutgers 68-61. Miami defeats Rutgers, so that means the Big Ten needs to sweep the remaining 3 games to catch, assuming that Duke, by the way, is up 7. That game isn't over yet. 2.5 minutes to go. Later, it's North Carolina, Indiana, Boston College, Nebraska, and Michigan State at Notre Dame. Miami 68, Rutgers 61. That's a final. And Fran's Club Car Wash keys to the game are brought to you each and every week by Club Car Wash for just $20 a month. There's no better time to join the club. Log on at clubcarwash.com. When corn grows Iowa, Iowans win. Take a closer look and you'll discover the many connections you have to corn. And those connections translate into victories for farmers and wins for all Iowans. Share your winning moments using hashtag IowansWin. Before we take a break, Fran, Eugene was listening earlier and checked in on Facebook. Coach, you mentioned the balls at shoot-around. What are the differences in the ball? A lot of people don't realize it can be a different feel, different size.
Well, it's just be a different make.
Yes.
So the Nike has a ball, and then of course there's
Under Armour, Spalding.
Under Armour got out of the basketball.
Oh, they did.
business.
Okay.
Great company, but they made the worst basketball ever.
Agreed.
I mean, if you miss the ball and it hit you in the head, you might get knocked out. That's how hard it was.
A concrete block.
Is the rock gone?
Anaconda the Rock, it was literally a rock.
Throw me the rock.
But Wilson, Bodden, Sterling.
What the Hawks use? Nike?
We use Nike.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of Nike schools, so we play with that ball a lot. The thing that I don't like is the basketball in the NCAA tournament is not a good ball.
Really?
No. Why don't they go to a standard ball? But because of the
I think because everybody's got different contracts and so forth. But I wish we would go with a standard ball because like I said last year when we didn't play well or shoot well in the tournament, it's like you can't use it as an excuse because the other team used the same ball.
The ball looked fuzzy to me though.
But it has a different bounce. It has a different feel, and you play with one ball all year long, but you go on the road. So in other words, like if we're going to, like we know what ball they use.
Yeah.
So for the previous 2 days, to answer Eugene's question, we will practice with that ball, and we'll get tons of shots up with that ball.
That helps.
That really helps. But not also dribbling, handling the ball.
Because the ball, if you remember, we were fumbling the ball early in that Richmond game.
Yeah,
the ball was fumbling. Guys were fumbling the ball, and the ball was rolling off the rim. Shots that normally roll in, and like you felt like you had to swish it to make it.
Yeah,
but you know, some programs use that same ball. You know, so it depends on what contract your school has.
With that, Eugene, you're our winner tonight's authentic question or comment of Hawk Talk with Coach McCaffery. So Eugene will send you a $100 gift certificate courtesy of Authentic. One final break here, and we'll come back and wrap up this week's inaugural Coach McCaffery show in just a minute. This is Hawk Talk with Fran McCaffery from Learfield.
Another season of women's and men's college sports is underway. Follow your alma mater or favorite team in their pursuit of the prestigious Learfield Directors Cup at L Directors Cup on Twitter and online at thedirectorscup.com. Trophies will be awarded in June 2023 to the winning institutions in all competitive divisions. Learfield Directors Cup, the crowning achievement in college athletics.
Knowing that I can make a difference in my patients' lives keeps me motivated every single day. Hi, I'm Dr. Kanya Ferguson at University of Iowa Healthcare. With academic medicine, we see the toughest cases, so we're always innovating. And we bring the best minds together to collaborate, so there's more brain power focused on you. Because that leads to exceptional care for our patients and our community. See how at uihc.org.
How do you become America's best-selling brand? Let's break it down. Innovative tech means smarter and safer driving. Intelligent all-wheel drive will keep you ready for anything. And built Ford tough trucks will always get the job done. Plus, come into your local Ford store today and get super low APR financing, big cash back, and great lease offers on Ford's full line of cars, trucks, and SUVs. That's Ford, and that's how you become America's best-selling brand. Sales claim based on calendar year sales.
When you open a crisp, cold Bud Light, you know game day is here.
You owe me $5.
We mean every sound. Enjoy responsibly. 2022 Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Introducing new Bud Light Seltzer Hard Soda Variety Pack. You hear that? It's seltzer with the pop of soda, all with zero sugar. Bud Light Seltzer Hard Soda, the loudest flavors ever. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Seltzer Hard Soda, IRC Beers, St. Louis, Missouri.
We all love a good win. Catching up with friends, saving money at the pump, soaking up the perfect Iowa day, sitting down to a really, really good meal. These are the everyday delights that make us smile. These are the moments that connect us all as Iowans. And these are the wins that, more often than not, start with Iowa's farm families and the crop they're growing. Because when corn grows Iowa, Iowans win. Learn more about how to share your own wins at iowacorn.org/IowansWin.
When you set up a savings goal with U.S. Bank, it grows with you. There's no limit to what you can crochet. Can do. Doesn't have to be crocheting, but it totally could be. Like the headphones you're listening to this ad with, you could totally crochet those. There's no telling where your savings goal will take you. Maybe you'll save enough for yarn to crochet your house or the whole town. Oh, right. Doesn't have to be crochet related.
Set up savings goals on the U.S. Bank mobile app, even for the wildest of dreams. U.S. Bank. We'll get there together. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
Back for our closing moments here on Hawk Talk with Iowa basketball coach Fran McCaffery. Thank you for tuning in on opening night. We're sponsored by Wellmark. Hawk fans who buy your own health insurance, Wellmark's on your side. And the health insurance marketplace, Wellmark has covered. Give it up for plans you can afford. Check out wellmark.com/hoops to compare plans. Don't forget the Hawkeye football team will know where it's bowling this Sunday afternoon. Iowa will find out when the bowl announcements are. Bowl Central. You'll immediately receive information on tickets, travel, and hotel, courtesy of Travel Leaders Destinations Unlimited, Iowa's official bowl tour. Fran, how's Tony Perkins doing?
Still good.
That's good.
He feels good.
Tough kid, boy. He was gotten it out there the last couple games anyway with that lower lip.
He's a little sore, but I haven't noticed a drop-off in his explosiveness or his ability to sustain effort and stay out on the floor. He's
Tough
not like
guy.
looking over, hey, you got to take me out. Hey,
Yeah.
Brad, I got to see, something hurts.
Yeah, he don't wanna
just
go out.
keeps
He's
playing.
not coming out.
Yeah, he just wants to keep playing.
You got a lot of kids like that on the roster.
Yeah, we do.
Chad says on Facebook, Coach, as quick and as long as the Hawks are, have you thought about a hard full court and see if you can turn them over? And I guess he means a man-to-man full court press. You played some of that.
We play 3 quarters. So he's probably referring to a full court press.
Right.
We've done that a little bit, but not too much. We don't like to open up the floor unless we have to, and it's usually late. If you open up the floor, you give talented players more space.
Ken wants to know who you feel the most improved players are, and he, like all of us, was really impressed with DeSante Bowen.
Yeah,
this past week.
DeSante's a terrific player. I made a mistake last. I needed to get him back into the second half. That's on me. I told him that today. He has played really well. I've gotten him in both halves every game, and I went with the veteran group in what was a kind of a goofy game. But I'll get him back in there. He's terrific.
You, of course, I wasn't down in Florida, but you stuck with a solid 8-man rotation for a good portion of that night.
Yeah, these were physical wars, and I've got some veteran guys that I can stay with, and that's important. But I've got to get him ready because we're going to need him. And the other thing is, don't forget about Josh Dix.
No.
He's a terrific player.
He is.
I got to figure out a way to get him in the lineup too. So that there's 9, Joshua Gundele being 10. So you can't always get 10 in, but I've got to get those other 2 guys in.
Yeah, and Josh Dix, I've been impressed with him. I'm mostly watching him in practice. The kid is
He's a shot maker, but you know what, Bobby? He's a player.
Yeah.
He has both of those kids have great feel. Like I said, in the game last night, when a team is changing defenses, you got to make plays. You don't run plays. They're flying around. They're in different places. You come down the floor. They're in 1-1. What are they in? Just go make a play.
Get in the open spot.
Find the open man.
We got about a minute left. Your favorite thoughts, or your favorite positives about Madison Square Garden? You grew up out east. You love the building like we all do. We've watched it from afar.
Actually, I didn't love the building. You keep saying I'm from back east, which I am, but I'm from Philadelphia. I'm not from New York.
That's not east?
Well, it's New York. It might as well be China.
Philly and New York don't get along.
It might as well be China.
Well, I understand.
I didn't like Willis Reed or Walt Frazier. Okay?
Or Earl the
Clear
Pearl.
that up.
Earl the Pearl.
Well, he's from Philly, though.
Well, that's right.
We love the Pearl. We love the Pearl.
Okay.
We love the Pearl.
I finally found a soft spot.
Yeah, it's a chance to get to 500. I mean, I know you don't give it much thought.
I don't give much thought.
Yeah,
Just for the fans.
Don't bring that up either, Bobby.
We're going to have a cake ready.
Okay, I'm never going to ask him about Madison Square Garden. All the
Never
history,
again.
All the history.
I went in there one.
Truthfully though, I think it's a great opportunity for our guys to say, I played in Madison Square Garden. How great is that?
For sure.
It is. They call it the world's most magical arena or whatever. There's something like that. The guy announces, and so we're going to get to play there.
It's got a certain smell to it.
Yeah. Great ending to the first show tonight. Hawk Talk with Fran McCaffery. We'll be here we'll be live next Monday from New York from 7 until 8:30, live from Times Square. I'll ask Fran if he likes Times Square at that point, okay? Appreciate the great hosting by the Hyatt Regency, Matt and his crew tonight. We'll talk Monday night from the East Coast. Good night, everybody.
On the Hawkeye Sports Network from Learfield, live from the Hyatt Regency, this has been Hawk Talk with Fran McCaffery, brought to you by Hyatt Regency, caring for people so they can be their best. Bud Light, it's for the fans. Brought to you by Ford, inviting you to visit your local Ford store or buyfordnow.com. Hy-Vee, score big savings at HyVdeals.com. U.S. Bank, proud to support Iowa basketball. U.S. Bank, equal housing lender, member FDIC. And by U.S. Cellular, the official wireless partner of the Iowa Hawkeyes. The preceding has been a Learfield presentation on the Hawkeye Sports Network.